Well, after a weekend of 5 classic games and 1 stinker, we are ready for the divisional round of the playoffs. Let's get right into it.
And the Bears still suck.
Well, we had some exciting games this weekend and pretty classic games, at least the first 3 or 4 games. Sorry about Saturday night. We talked about that, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but we agreed that, like, if you could give anybody that situation at the start of the fourth quarter and be like, which side do you want to take? We're not even sure if there was an even in-game money line for the Bears at that point. But would it have been astronomical? You know,
It's one of those cases when you make the right choice and the right pick, but the result doesn't come through. It's like getting your money all in with pocket aces against kings and you lose. It doesn't mean that aces was not the right all-in call.
yeah.
So the bottom line is this was an anomaly. And congratulations, Bears fans. You know, it's been a rough 40 years for you. And you got the W. It was a miracle. Parting the Red Sea pretty much. But enough of that. On to this week.
Yeah, we got only 4 games left, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and we're going to just jump right to this. Probably the most confusing matchup of the weekend is the first one on Saturday at 1:30. It's the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos, and it kind of depends on which sport book you look at right now, whether the Bills, as we're taking them, are favored by 1.5 points, but it's spread all the way to the Broncos being favored by 1.5 points. So this is a close game again. What were we talking about? Because this is going to be, it's Josh Allen versus Bo Nix untested in the playoffs. Josh Allen banged up, losing Gabe Davis, another player.
Yep.
So the Bills have their work cut out for them against the second-year quarterback.
Yeah, Josh Allen and the Bills. I mean, they were a favorite. They finished out a favorite against Jacksonville. Now they're a favorite against Denver. And it's probably because, not the defense. The defense of Denver is outstanding. I think they questioned the Bo Nix matchup. And Bo Nix is obviously very green in the playoff world. And now he's up against the iconic Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't have to face Mahomes or any of those guys right now. They're Lamar. He's facing Bo Nix.
Will Bo Nix be his new Patrick Mahomes?
Maybe. You never know. I mean, the Chiefs are looking pretty dead right now, so maybe it's, Bo Nix is the future matchup for Josh Allen. So it's going to come down to, Josh Allen, who got banged up. He must have had 3 different injuries in that game against Jacksonville, and still Superman put on his cape, and he lit it up. So I think he had two rushing touchdowns, 1 passing. I mean, he did it all. Khalil Shakir is going to be the key wide receiver for this Bills team, especially with Gabe Davis going out with a horrific knee injury. It looked ugly, and it was. But Shakir had a big game. Keon Coleman actually made a really big catch, too, that was very beneficial. A lot of guys were catching the ball. So I've been begging for a receiver to step up. Brandon Cooks looked pretty good and had some good plays the last couple weeks. So James Cook is going to be a huge factor in this game. This defense of Denver is no joke. And with Patrick Surtain locking down the passing game, will James Cook be able to take some of that pressure away from Josh Allen having to do it all? And that's tough. That's a tough task against this Denver defense. On the other side of the ball, like I said, we just talked about him, Bo Nix. He's the X factor. He's had some ups and downs this year, just like Trevor Lawrence has. Now he's in the biggest game of his life at home. And obviously R.J. Harvey is going to be the key factor, the X factor for Denver. No more J.K. Dobbins. R.J. Harvey, the rookie standout, has stepped up huge. He's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 touchdowns on the year rushing. And he is going to be a very dynamic player that has to come up big and take a little heat off of Bo Nix, because I'm sure there's going to be some jitters going on for him. Cortland Sutton and the normal cast are going to have to somehow get it done for Bo Nix. Probably give him some help, make sure they catch everything. Huge game. I mean, Sean Payton, he's the right guy for this job. He's come in, he's turned it around for Denver. So where are we going to sit in this game? It is a tough one. This is really a tough game. If it was in Buffalo, I absolutely would probably just jump on Buffalo, no doubt. even Buffalo -2 or 3 at home, no problem. But it's in Denver. A rested team, a banged up Josh Allen who just, he's going to keep grinding it out for sure. He lost one of his receivers, his trusty receiver in Gabe Davis. We're simply going to go based on the fact I'm going to take the home dogs. I'm going to take the home dogs +1.5. We're going to go with the Denver Broncos to get it done at home. Unfortunately, Josh Allen isn't going to be able to do enough in this situation. Denver gets to win. Boom.
And, you mentioned one thing about the week of rest. Sometimes that could come back to bite you in the butt, especially if you don't have as much experience as, like Bo Nix does not. So, but yeah, that's a very close one. But yeah, tough not to take the Broncos and that defense at home, especially with how hurting the Bills are on most
Yeah, you got to
fronts.
take the home dog. I mean, hey, maybe Buffalo wins by 1, but that's still a cover if you take Denver at the +1.5. But it's a tough game, but we'll see. It's good. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Well, the Saturday 5 p.m. matchup is another team coming off of their first-round bye, the Seattle Seahawks. They're at home against the San Francisco 49ers, who, to many people's surprise, not ours, beat the Eagles. We had them picked for that. I actually had them picked to win.
Yep.
Not
same
just
thing.
even just cover.
Upset alert. Yep.
with the points. Right now, the Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites at home. So we have that hook, and we have the recent memory of what happened in Week 18. We also think back a few weeks prior when the 49ers took down the Seahawks, although that was a high-scoring affair. So we got the rested team versus the 49ers coming off of it'll be a 6 days in between.
Yeah, 49ers are on a little bit of a shorter week, so that's a little bit trickier, obviously. The biggest thing is George Kittle. They lose George Kittle to a torn Achilles. Just brutal for that guy. Heart goes out. He's the heart and soul of that team. Like, he would run through a wall for this team. So that's brutal. Brock Purdy, he's going to be a key factor here. Last week was kind of his up and down, right? I mean, he had some good moments. He had some bad moments. Where's the offense going to come from? Because this Seattle defense is dynamic. They're outstanding. They got the 12th man playing in Seattle, and Christian McCaffrey, he's been doing it on both sides of the ball. He's been had a down year rushing wise, but still he's stayed healthy, knock on wood. He's playing pretty solid. Juwan Jennings has to step up big time, because one thing is they can't go to the trusty George Kittle anymore, so they're left with Juwan Jennings down the field and utilizing McCaffrey in the passing game. And Kyle Shanahan's going to have these guys prepped and ready, okay? They've been doing it all year long, injured on both sides of the ball. Now you look at the other side, the X factor is going to be obviously Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, we saw what he did the last couple weeks last year against Detroit. He lost to lose the number 1 seed opportunity at the end of the year and then crap the bed in the playoffs. So that's what we saw with Sam Darnold. This year, we thought, okay, are we going to see that again? And we didn't. We saw Sam Darnold take care of business against San Francisco in Week 18, and he continues to play solid. I mean, absolutely impressive to go back-to-back years of 2 different teams winning 13 games plus.
That was insane.
I mean, that's pretty outstanding, 13 games plus with both teams. So here we are. They're on a bye. They had a bye. They're rested. Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN, is a beast, an absolute machine that the only one he fell short to is Puka Nacua. And Puka's a beast in his own right, obviously. They have a good running combo with Charbonnet and Walker. But the key is the defense, and they're well coached. So it's going to be a battle of 2 really good coaches in a division battle that they both know each other inside and out. So to me, 7.5 points, that's a lot of points, especially that hook. That's the thing that's kind of, gave me pause and breaking it down the last couple of days. That's 7.5. It's a lot of points. I mean, if it was 6.5, it would be a no-brainer. 7.5, got to factor a little more. But here's the thing. The Eagles played really poorly, and that opened a door for San Francisco. I don't think we're going to see that kind of poor play on either side of the ball out of Seattle. I think Seattle right now is a favorite to win it all and win the Super Bowl. And I have a hard time seeing that changing here. Very simply, we're going to Seattle Seahawks -7.5. They're going to cover the spread. If you want to buy down that hook to even 7 to get a little extra comfort, I would recommend that. But Seattle, no doubt, gets the W. Boom.
My last chance to get an Eagles dig in as a Giants fan. I was going to say, do you think A.J. Brown had more angry tweets or drop balls in the last game? Good luck next year, Eagles.
AJ Brown's not going to be on the team next year. I'm pretty sure he's going to be gone.
I think for many reasons. Yeah,
he doesn't want any part of being there either, and there's issues. So
we're in the middle now already of the 4 games. I want to thank everybody for still watching all this season, who's come along for the whole journey. If you've been watching and haven't subscribed yet, you still got time to do it. And we'll probably be doing some stuff in the off season, which is like the 6 months, we'll see. We say it every year. This year I really, really want to. It's my full-time goal here. But we will see. But thank you guys for being here. And we're going to have a new Super Bowl champion that we haven't had in the last 5 years? 4 or 5 years now. It's not going to be the Eagles or the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're not even there to get a chance at it. So it's kind of cool. It's wide open.
Yep.
Let's look at Sunday. It is the Houston Texans, who may have put the final nail on the Aaron Rodgers career coffin. They are traveling over to New England, and New England is a 3-point favorite at home. In case you didn't watch the game last night, which I was tuning in and out because it was not a good game, no. C.J. Stroud did everything he could to try and give the Steelers a chance to win this game. Multiple fumbles, multiple interceptions. The Steelers just couldn't capitalize. You can't make those mistakes against Drake May and the Patriots.
No. It shaked out yesterday. It's just like kind of both things happened, which I was concerned about. One, I said the Houston defense would dominate, but I said C.J. Stroud, if the only way Houston loses if C.J. Stroud basically blows up and sucks. And both happened.
Yeah.
And that tells you how good that defense was for Houston and how Pittsburgh could do nothing. Aaron Rodgers, his lowest point total ever in the playoffs. And at the end, there were some points tacked out at the end.
Pick 6, I think it was. And will he end his career throwing to the other team?
Yeah,
that was his last toss in the NFL.
I think he'll think about it. There'll be a back and forth for a while, but I think Aaron Rodgers probably retires. Last night I thought a little different. I thought maybe he would come back, but I don't know. I think he's just done with the politics of it, right? Like the whole Mike Tomlin, should he be fired? Should he not be fired? I think he's just like, the game has changed so much when you have a guy like Matt LaFleur on the hot seat when he came into the NFL and he went number 1 seed, number 2 seed, number 1 seed, missed the playoffs, and then 3. So, he made the playoffs every year but 1, and they're talking about replacing him, right? Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. And granted, yes, he's not winning Super Bowls, but he's never had a losing season, and they're making the playoffs, but yet, they're talking about firing him. When there's so many coaches that are terrible in the NFL, right? C.J. Stroud is not going to be afforded his mistakes that he had, his fumbles and interceptions. And here's the bigger problem. Nico Collins did a head plant like a rocket into the ground. Concussion. I've never seen anyone get carted off with a concussion.
Yeah.
So the fact that was the case and they're on a short week already, I just don't see how Nico Collins is going to be ready. Now, Christian Kirk played an outstanding game for them. Monster game. But Nico not playing, which is likely he won't be playing in my mind, big-time problems.
Makes it easier for the defense, too, because you don't got to cover 2 wide receivers like that.
Yeah, and
quality.
Exactly. And the Patriots' defense is outstanding. Better than Pittsburgh by far. And Drake May is no Aaron Rodgers, okay? Aaron Rodgers is older. He's not moving as well. Drake May he's dynamic with the run, the pass. They have 2 stud running backs. Ramondre Stevenson came up huge last week, this last game, from the running standpoint and the ball, catching the passes, right? He did everything. And Trevion Henderson, the young standout rookie, he didn't do a ton in this game, but he's right there ready to pounce. We're literally setting up to face a potential New England versus Denver. 2 teams that were worst to go to first to play in the Super Bowl together against each other. That's pretty unbelievable. So here we go. It's Texans. Their defense. Can their defense manage and squeak out another one in spite of C.J. Stroud's flaws in this offense's, situation with no Nico probably? The answer is no. We're going to take the New England Patriots. They're going to cover the 3. They're at home. They're on that path. It's looking like
that's crazy.
They're going to head their way to the NFC Championship game again, just a few years removed from Tom Brady, and here we go again talking about the Patriots. Here we finally unseat and don't have to hear about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and what do we end up getting back in its place?
Right, the old evil empire is back.
And the Patriots are back, so it's like, what in the world? But anyway, Take the Patriots, -3 at home. They're going to get it done. Boom.
All right, and the last game of the weekend starts at 3:30. Be nice. It is the LA Rams. They are on the road at the Chicago Bears. Look at his face already. I'm going to zoom in on that. The Rams are currently 3.5-point favorites on the road. Matthew Stafford, you mentioned Drake May a second ago, right? They're both playing, by record-wise, quality teams. Still battling for the MVP. Winner here, one wins, one loses, could decide it. Bears, are they going to have a fourth quarter comeback against Matthew Stafford like they've had all season against teams to be where they're at?
Well, we're going to start with some fun facts, okay? First thing is, Sean McVay is 0-2 at Soldier Field in his career, okay? The Rams have not won at Soldier Field since 2003. And they have lost the last 4 straight matchups at Soldier Field that they have played. Now, obviously, that's past history, a lot of this applies. But here's another factor. It's going to be cold. It's going to be below zero, bone-chilling, Midwest that I'm very familiar with being from Wisconsin. Miserable cold. And there's one player that does not play particularly well in the cold, and that is Mr. Dome quarterback in California Sunshine, Matt Stafford. So that is a tricky facet. That's the rub. That's the rub right now. Let's go the other direction. Caleb Williams obviously does not have a whole lot of playoffs experience. Now, he did manage to be the first quarterback since Jim McMahon to beat the Green Bay Packers twice, which is pretty impressive. So, with that being said, this game is going to come down to Matt Stafford and this offense. Kyren Williams has to take some of the heat off of Stafford. He needs to run the ball well. When it's super cold like this, NFC, team like the Bears will cut their teeth on the run. Okay, that's what that division does. And you're looking at a situation where you have DeAndre Swift and Monangai, which are a good 1-2 combo. The guy that came up big this last game, though, was tight end Colston Loveland. He was a monster. Like, literally, Green Bay gave one player after the other in the fourth quarter, just giving up big chunks to this young rookie tight end. That can't happen if the Rams want to win this game. Puka Nacua, he had a big game last week. I think he had at least 10 catches in that neighborhood of a big game. Him and Devontae Adams have to come up big. And Devontae Adams is familiar with the cold weather, playing in Green Bay. So I think Devontae Adams definitely could shine this game. And this could be, touchdown Devontae Adams hasn't got his touchdowns as of late as much. I think he could get 1 or 2 in this game, to be honest. Where's this game going to sit? 3.5 points. The hook, coming into Chicago being disrespected as the number 2 seed, yet 3.5-point underdogs. And that says a lot, because the bottom line is the Chicago Bears, fraud alert. Fraud alert, okay? Woo! They are not what they are the worst 2 seed in the history of the world. They never should have won that game against Green Bay. Let's be clear on this. I don't care what the end result was. It was an anomaly. It was, I don't know, Green Bay's maybe jinxed in the playoffs. I'm not sure at this point. They get to these points and then this weird stuff keeps happening. I don't have an answer for it. I don't have an excuse for it. But I do know that Chicago is a fraud. Okay? They are a fraud. So enjoy and savor this win, Bear fans. I know it's the first one in the playoffs in a long time. But guess what? There's not going to be another one. Your season's going to be over this week. You take the Rams -3.5. It is free money. I said it once before. I'm 2-0 on free money. Take it to the bank picks. Lock it up, guaranteed. And guess what? We're going to go 3-0 this week as the LA Rams -3.5. Buy it down at 0.5 point if you want to. But either way, Rams -3.5. Take the bank. Put it on the fucking truck and drive it to your house because it is yours if you take the Rams -3.5. Boom.
So you're pretty sure the Rams are going to win. I gotcha.
Rams got this locked up without a doubt. Short of Matt Stafford, getting hurt and missing the game.
Well, this season has been crazy, as every announcer, every single person has said. This year has been unpredictable, to say the very least. But let's wrap it up with this. Quick prediction, put you on the spot. Haven't asked you this yet. Of the remaining 8 teams, best Super Bowl matchup, worst Super Bowl matchup?
The worst Super Bowl matchup would be the Texans getting into the Super Bowl, okay? I mean, no one wants to see the Texans in the Super Bowl. That's probably the worst scenario. God, I mean, Bears-Texans would probably be just a death sentence. It'd be terrible. Like, Bears-Texans, I mean, I would actually become a Texans fan and probably, move to Texas if they beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, because I could not handle a Bears miracle Super Bowl run. But that's not happening, so thank God I don't have to worry about that. I think the coolest matchup would be like, Bills-Rams or Bills-Seattle is probably the matchup. I mean, like I said, I would love to see the Bills win. I just don't think they're going to. My heart wants the Bills to win. My head and my mind and my logic is saying they're not going to. So I think Bills and the Rams would be the cool matchup, and the worst matchup would be Texans-Bears.
I just see the Bills play the 49ers, but
I like that too.
Interesting. That'd be a good market game for the NFL too. They want to make some money.
Yeah.
There's 2 teams they can make some serious, because when they're writing the script, they got to take that into effect. So like Houston versus Seattle, not going to be the biggest draw. If that was
Seattle's not the other one. That's probably the second worst one.
Yeah.
Basically, anything with Houston, it would be ugly.
All right, guys, that's this weekend. Next week, just 2 games left to determine who's going to the Super Bowl. And I can tell you what, it's not going to be Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes.
Amen to that.
We will see you guys next week. Have fun this weekend. And Jason?
Sorry, Bears fans, I'll give you the bad news. We will not be talking about the Chicago Bears next week. But until then, take it to the bank. Boom.